Admirals Log, Stardate 0827202021.5. Starship Excelsior's log NCC 77246. So, I just finished watching the Republican National Convention, but I will get to that after I talk to you about the first subject everyone's asking about yet again, which is stimulus checks. Now, stimulus checks aren't coming, all right? Nancy Pelosi had a meeting with the White House Chief of Staff today, Mark Meadows, trying to get a deal together. Mark Meadows stated that he wanted $105 billion for schools. He wanted unemployment extended, and he wanted other things, but he never mentioned stimulus checks at all. He said that bill could pass. Unfortunately, as Donald Trump said, stimulus checks are dead when he was talking to the press the other day. So right now, stimulus checks, Mark Meadows stated that he thinks they might pass something in the legislation that's due from September 8th to September 30th, the end of the fiscal year for the budget, to get a new budget. Unfortunately, everything happens for reasons, okay? So I want you to know that there is no stimulus checks, okay? I saw a person today that deserved in another person's chat that I was watching, because I did watch some stuff and etc. and check the links that Captain Pee Wee sent me from the California, great captain. Because Gail had a question about the war in China. We have two fleets out that way in the Chinese sector, and we are, trying to make a military presence. Now, I told Captain Gale of the Joplin, that if I was doing the diplomacy, I would pull the ships back. China's a superpower. We should leave China alone, okay? However, when I get into the Republican National Convention, I'm not going to go over all 4 nights. A lot of the stuff I heard was kind of, as the old term goes, for cell phones and new laptops, when they put on too much software and clog up your hard drives. They call it bloatware. Well, everything they talked about was bloat talk, Now, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, all right? So my views don't matter, all right? But I will say that I'm very disgusted with everything that's been said and done, all right? One is, that I've been doing a lot of fact checking, last night in between movies and using my phone until the battery's almost dead. And I can clearly state that everything I've done fact checking is, etc. However, I am very disappointed in Donald Trump's speech tonight, okay? He didn't, we were all, me and my father-in-law, because we were just joking around. I had my computer on while my phone was charging, and my phone's connected to Messenger for Google, which means I can get my cell phone messages on Google. It's paired. So I was sitting there, and he was messaging me, and he says, I'm waiting for the word Marxist, because he was waiting for Donald Trump to say it. Donald Trump didn't talk about the post office, which really disgusts me. Thanks, Captain Pee Wee, for the information on the from the California on the post office thing. It doesn't answer my question. My meds haven't come in yet. As everyone knows, I'm worried to hell for my meds. The other thing I'm worried about is letters. Jose messaged me today. Told him not to worry about my birthday present. I basically, I got some letters going out to him anyways. One is just to say, don't even bother with presents. He said, oh, well, I promise. Doesn't matter. My birthday's past and gone. All right? 2 is, he's fighting the post office in Texas on the USS Texas for or the Texarkana station to find out where my letter is. And then he said he was going to go to FedEx. I think he said he was going to FedEx tomorrow, I think it was. Maybe it was tomorrow. Maybe it was tomorrow. I don't know when he said he was going to do it. I just can't remember what he said, tomorrow I'm going to FedEx and send it. Yeah, okay, so he's going to use FedEx Ground at FedEx 2-day, whatever it is. It kind of disturbs me because, he claimed he sent it on August 11th, and it's going to be August 28th tomorrow, and there is no freaking package. And I would have been nicely bitching to him about my meds not coming in, or my bills. And so that was one of the things that really got me on the hot seat today, again, out of depression. Last night I did try the Kopke Coal-Headed 1985 wine, and for the price that Chloe paid is $70. It was a birthday wine. I finally drank it last night. It royally sucked ass. I get more out of that 20-year that I enjoyed than a 35-year wine that was aged. I mean, literally, it just, no. To me, it doesn't have any comprehension, okay? It didn't even have any flavor. It wasn't even sweet. It was more tart than sweetness. So, to me, it wasn't worth it, all right? So, I sent a message to the Rear Admiral Aileen, and I said, look, Admiral Aileen, that wine sucked. Hopefully the 78, when I open it up, tastes a lot better than the 85. She's like, I'm sorry to hear that, Fleet Admiral. I will, I asked her about a case of something. She's like, oh, yeah, I sell that, but I don't have a case. I only have 4 bottles. I said, well, I'll buy 4 bottles. I don't give a shit. It's fine. So, anyways, back to the nomination thing. Okay, now I know Captain Pee-wee said firearms would be taken. So far, I haven't seen anything on firearms. I did see something about restrictions on assault weapons, which they want to classify anything that's a semi-automatic, whether it be an AR-15 or a pump-action shotgun, which holds 9 shots, or a auto-loading shotgun, which could hold like 5 shots. They want to classify that as a assault weapon. The problem is if you want to classify those types of weapons, if the Democrats got in as assault weapons, and you got to realize that as long as you have half or full moon clips, which is basically a clip like this, and a speed loader, you can basically have a backpack full of speed loaders and use a revolver fast enough. So unless they're telling people to go back to the old black powder, which means 1 shot, where the police carry 15 or 33 round extended Glock clips, or magazines as they call them, I think, my opinion is Mitch McConnell's speech was royally stupid, okay? They didn't bring up stimulus checks yet again. That was something that should be. Donald Trump, if he really wanted to win the election, he should have fucking slam-basted the Democrats, basically. He did that and slam dunk them one, but he didn't slam dunk Pelosi and Schumer for not going in with another stimulus. But then again, he already said to the media there's no more stimulus checks. The economy is rebounding. However, I just read a report today saying the economy is going into a double-dip recession. So that kind of scares me, all right? But for the most part, the speech was long, and a lot where I was watching it from, there was comments because I was watching it live on YouTube, and I could clearly tell you that the commentator, literally, the commentator gets super chats, and he missed, in the last 4 days, he's missed super chats, unless you're giving like $20 or $50 or more American, even $100. Someone gave $100. The super chat, he was avoiding 99% of them. The other thing is I had to yell at him in an email over something that he did, and I hope to get that fixed because I think, frankly, he is a money-grubbing whore. Getting all those super chats and, etc., and to me, I think he is the biggest bigot in the world when it comes to politics. He thinks he knows something, thing is, he doesn't. Now, President Trump did state that this is the biggest election in history. We should vote. And I will when my voting registration comes in. Fortunately, I'm waiting. I did get a confirmation that it'll be in the mail soon, but again, they said all the new voters for this county, because I transferred, is taking too damn long to vote due to the fact that the mail's being fucking delayed. I called the post office today about my meds, and their answer is the Postmaster General has said that they can't talk about postal policies. So if people die because they don't get their meds, it's on the post office's head, or the postmaster general. Fortunately, we live in a democratic island, or a democratic quadrant, so to me, it is basically fucking bullshit, alright? Now, a report I read that Captain Pee Wee sent was about post office and meds. Some people are getting their meds in 9 days, others are getting it 2 weeks, some are getting 3 weeks. Captain Gale on the Joplin said she ordered something like 7 months ago on Wish.com, and it finally got through to her 2 days ago. She was fucking ecstatic, but she was also fucking angry. Now, because it was coming from the Chinese sector, that in that quadrant, that it takes 6 months. So for me, I'm getting upset because I ordered some more food and Amazon saying it's going to be the 21st of September. Well, again, I had to contact the right people, and that took a lot of time, and then, so I was disgusted. That's why I went to bed at like 10 o'clock and got up at like 4:30, 4:45. I hopped out of bed, emptied my bladder, cleaned up, turned on the thing, and then after the Republican National Convention, since I was manning the bridge tonight waiting for email, I sent out some emails, and I sent a message to Jose saying, look, don't worry about the present, okay? I don't give a shit. I'm worried about my meds. I'm worried about my bills. And the thing is I'm tired of these fucking people, and I'm not talking Jose in general, but people that have no fucking sympathy. And that's something I was telling Gail in my own way tonight, Captain Gail, because Captain Gail told me she had a great surprise today, and she wanted to thank me on a project me and Chloe did for her, and we didn't do much, And so, to me, I'm kind of upset because, so far, I'm going to say, with an accuracy thing, with me and Captain Pee Wee talking about my personal thoughts on the Texarkana region. We're always looking to see if Texas will stay blue or flip blue or go red, and then the other things, and everything else. Captain Pee Wee made a statement to me privately, which I won't go into, that was about 100% accurate. So her accuracy is pretty good. I mean, literally. So now Captain Pee Wee's accuracy on what she stated in her chat, or the comment that I saved, was about 97% accurate, okay? Donald Trump reiterated it about 86% of it tonight. And so I was just amazed, So to me, it's not bad, all right? Now, as Captain Pee Wee knows, we all have to give people credit where credit is due. And I'm no exception to, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, well, her ideas are radical and whatever. No, her ideas and her thoughts are her opinions, and I respect that. I'm not going to turn anyone's opinions away. And so to me, I wanted to share that with you all because, frankly, I'm disgusted with the fucking policies going around this country. I mean, literally. I mean, as I said to Captain Gale on Joplin, I said, before you go to vote, this is the biggest thing I want to tell you tonight, is you need to get out there and vote. It doesn't matter what color you're voting for, as long as you make a difference in your own feelings. Let me put it this way. I watched a movie last night called Shadow Riders with Sam Elliott and what's his name? No, you don't get anything. You already had something. And the guy in Quigley, Tom Selleck. And Tom Selleck played a former captain of the Union Army, and his brother played a sergeant in the Confederate Army. But when the war was over, they went back home, hugged, and it was all fine. So just got to remember, whatever your politics are in your heart, it's not going to divide your family apart. Just vote the way you want to vote. I mean, That's what I gotta say. Your main course of action currently is, because the election's coming up in November, is to vote. You don't need to sit back and worry, okay? Now, I will tell you, I saw a report today where 20 states filed against Donald Trump. Donald Trump thinks he can win, yet it's now going to the Supreme Court for debate on the Postal Service. Because a lot of people are bitching about their mail. A lot of people are bitching about their meds, which rightfully so. I mean, literally, a guy fucking puts as they said, flung his wooden shoes into automated machines, and that's where you get the word sabo for sabotage. The little wooden shoes are called sabo, which means wooden shoes. Taj. Wooden shoes in machine. Sabotage. Sabo. So, technically, you can always look up that information on the wooden shoes fling, and but the point is the logistics is you just need to get out there, vote. I'm not going to tell you how to vote. That's not my business. I will tell you to be careful, all right? The American people are tired, okay? Now, my father-in-law made a point tonight that in his opinion, remember, he's not a voter, so his votes don't matter and his opinions don't matter since he's not registered to vote like I am. But he said that, in his opinion, Donald Trump's racist, and because Donald Trump's racist, he's using the anti-racist card to get reelected because he's putting blacks first. Well, I did like the guy who said all black lives matter. Well, maybe, but he said all black lives matter. Now, you know as well as I do that I don't support all black lives matter. Now, I know one of our moderators, Kimmy, if she's watching this, will be disgusted, but in my opinion, all fucking lives matter. Not just fucking black lives, all lives. However, Donald Trump also disgusted me by not talking about Native Americans tonight. They make up some of his voters too. Unfortunately, he decided to put African Americans and Hispanics. Now, Kamala Harris, let me just say, has offered free... You do know my plug's right there at the same phone. Dumb as a box of rocks.
I'll be cooking soon.
So, anyways, the bottom line is, Kamala Harris has offered $25,000 or more for housing for only blacks. She's trying to drum up the black supporters. That's true. Unfortunately, everything that Pee-wee has said has been about 96% accurate, okay? Now, Donald Trump spoke about Second Amendment going bye-bye. Well, over the years, every administration has talked about banning weapons or, if they got in. So we have to be very careful right now. That's all I'm going to say because, like I said, if Donald Trump gets reelected and we get both the Democratic House and Senate, he can't do anything. He could just veto everything. The other thing I wanted to say is a person today, like I said, FEMA funds were going out to give her unemployment for 3 weeks, and one of the people deserves in the comment I read on another channel, deserves one of the comment of the awards day for stating that she feels bad that Hurricane Laura came through, ripped out, took people's lives, their liberties, and other things, and took away everything they owned, and yet she feels bad that FEMA funds are going to pay for unemployment over the disaster in Hurricane Laura, which she deserves, the award for that. Another person deserves the award because it hasn't been spoken about much, was Donald Trump talked about today about an executive order to bail out airlines. So he's going to divert funds from somewhere else to bail out the airlines because they're suffering. Let's just say the American people are gobbling it up right now. Okay, remember what I said. I deal with the stimulus check side. Unfortunately, a lot of the unemployed that's wanting everything back. A third person stated tonight that in a comment that $600 needs to be reinstated, and $600 needs to be reinstated now, no ifs, ands, or buts, or the economy will founder. Sounds like a greedy son of a bitch. But anyways, the the thing is Captain Pee Wee told me once that without the $600, the economy could tank. Well, I don't think so. I think giving less is better, and but she also agreed less is better. Even $100 more is fine. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They want to give $300 or $400 for some places, and because of it, the country will run out again. And when they run out, this is like retroactive from August 1st, they will be basically not even caught up in their bills. So the evictions will start in September and October, and it will get bad. And as I said, he didn't even bring up the homeless problem coming up. It was just like, he didn't even talk about the homeless problem. He didn't talk about stimulus checks. He didn't talk about unemployment. He was basically on a full rant about 90% of it was about Biden, what Biden's going to do. And, my mom used to say that, listening to these baboons, that was her opinion, that they are all, I think she was Democrat, don't quote me, but she used to say that they're all talk. Literally they're all talk. And to me, I don't know what to make of any of it, but I will tell you the way I saw tonight's speeches for the last 4 nights, honestly, looked like fear tactics. They're going to take away guns. They didn't talk about 40 million people going to go vote at the poll to vote for Biden if they end up homeless. No one knows that. That's 40 million, up to 40 million votes, not including the greedy son of a bitches that say they want their stimulus checks now, like that Robert guy, and he demands it. And the thing is the government doesn't owe you, Robert, Jack Diddley Poopers. So technically, no. So if you want 130 million people that are on 6 different government plans will vote them all out. That's 130 million people right there. 1/3 of the country would vote against Donald Trump because of stimulus checks. Now, as you all know, Captain Pee Wee made a good statement that if people are willing, mostly Democrats, I'm minding you, are voting for a stimulus check and voting Trump out, this could cause, 1, a civil war, and 2, it could cause this country to go socialist, communist / Marxist. He did bring up socialist agendas, but the thing is Donald Trump was kind of vague in his speech tonight about Biden. Thing is, I'm going to be spending the weekend fact checking tomorrow through Sunday, fact checking everything and double checking it, because I know the news media has already fact checked it, and based on the last 4 nights, the total fact checking was about 99.5% accurate on lies. And so I want to, as I told Captain Gale to Joplin, before you go to the vote, this is what I said, and Pee Wee has said this herself, get out there and do your research before you sign your name to a ballot. Pee Wee knows I'm not going to just go rubber stamp my name to either Biden or Trump until I get all the information. And more likely, I already said on November 3rd, I will be telling you who I voted for once the ballots is all counted. And once everything's counted, I will tell you who I voted for. But in the meantime, I have to be neutral because this is a channel and I don't want to piss off anyone or lose friends over it. I will say, that I'm very disgusted with what I've seen the last 4 days in the Republican Party's candidates. Now, mind you, Pee Wee's probably thinking, oh, I'm going to vote blue, probably. No. I was also disgusted what I seen in the Democratic National Convention. Literally disgusted to no end from both parties. Now I'm just waiting to see if the president has the gusto to go up against Biden 3 elections, because that helps. The elections, 3 debates, that and the vice president. Everyone is saying that even though Mike Pence has had 4 years as vice president, Kamala Harris is going to basically make mincemeat out of him. Well, I'm sorry to say, but if that's the case, I'm going to be basically following it to see what truly happens. So, the next thing I want to talk to you lovely people about is my opinions. Like I said, mine's neutral, alright? I thank Pee Wee for the links. You could always have emailed me, Missy. Unless you were just, you can email me anytime. You know that, Pee Wee. But yeah, I mean, literally, my opinion is I'm disgusted with both parties. I think Pee Wee understands that, but I also have to realize, and others, even Gail knows I'm disgusted with it. Joe is, and Cam is, and Mark is. I'm disgusted with the entire parties, both parties. The only thing I like that Captain Gale said was, vote them all out. That'll fix things right away. Fortunately, who do you vote for then? I mean, literally, I personally think, a lot of both sides are doing fear tactics and fear mongering. I don't support fear mongering and fear tactics. I support facts and truths. And if there is no truth and facts, like that Robert guy says I'm too negative on the stimulus check, I'm not negative. I just don't want jackasses basically demanding money when they're not entitled to a fucking dime. And as I said, time and time again, he's like, oh yeah, we're going to get it this month. Really? Let's see, it's going to be the 28th tomorrow. Where's your fucking check, Robert? Well, let's see. They'll vote on it in September, if then. And if they don't vote on it by the 30th, well, my channel will be devoted to following the campaign right now and letting you all know my thoughts. And honestly, my opinion is you guys need to get out there and vote. That's the main thing. Donald Trump, the only thing I can say that made complete sense tonight was getting out there and voting. I mean, literally. We're still waiting for the information on the shooting in Kenosha. What happened with that dad? He was tased. We know this. When he got in his truck, they said he had a knife. Lawyer said it didn't happen. We need to have the facts before I can make a judgment. Now he's paralyzed. Now they're suing the fucking government and the police department and everything else. More likely they'll win because of the skin color, which I don't mind. You attack someone who's transgendered or black, prepare a lawsuit. Fortunately, that's the way it happens. There's too many people that are lawsuit happy crazy. Look at that kid that got insulted from Native American or whatever. $200 million or something. He's wealthier than me. Hopefully, they get it reduced because a kid with that much money shouldn't have that much money, But that's just my opinion. He wants to take on all the media. Unfortunately, in my opinion, sometimes the media makes mistakes. I mean, as you all know, as I was telling my father-in-law was saying, that the news media, and I've seen this, the news media between Fox News, which always covers Donald Trump, which recently he said that was fake news out of anger, to NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, and CNN, for example, stated that the vote can go either other. They're not basically saying Biden's going to win. They're not going to say Trump's going to win. They're saying they're basically playing the fence now for the next 60-some days and basically watching carefully to see what happens. They're not saying, oh, Biden's going to win or Trump's going to win. Back then, they said Biden's going to win. But right now, they're not. The election is too far out to say who's going to win. And that's why Captain Gale said, if Trump loses, we accept it. If Trump wins, we accept it. If Biden wins, we accept it. If Biden loses, we accept it. In the meantime, don't dwell on it. Too many people are getting headaches dwelling on the election. I mean, there's the loyal Trumpers and the loyal Bideners. Frankly, I'm not in either party, okay? But if you're loyal to Trump, so be it. If you're loyal to Biden, so be it. But some people know me that I keep my distance. And I'm not a prophet. God can change the outcome. If he does, he does. He doesn't, he doesn't. Biden wins? Oh well. Trump wins? Oh well. However, like I said, I'm very disgusted that they didn't bring up the delays in stimulus checks and or for the American people. And that is what I think for my own 2 bits or a $50 gold coin from the 1800s would say. The American people are suffering. And the American people are taking notice. And they're taking notice to the point where the American people are saying enough's enough. Why? Because they're not getting their money. Now, I will say, President Trump did make me awe tonight. The awe moment was when he's talking about jobs. Okay, 10 million jobs in the next 10 to 12 months. It's a good goal. Fortunately, that's if the virus is contained. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the coronavirus, but when he was talking about bringing back Americans' jobs, I said yes. Unfortunately, the problem is, and I want to correct everyone on this point because I know this will be a good debate tonight, probably in the comments. When everyone wants to go back to America, okay, I've talked to companies that are based in England, like Hardy's Fly Rods, okay. Hardy's decided they wanted to change course and make fly rods affordable, but at less of the English wage. So they went with South Korea. They're going to stay in South Korea. Reddington, which is a subsidiary of David Reddington, I believe, owned it, Fly Rods. That was a subsidiary at Made in America. Sage bought them. Sage is all made in Bainbridge, Washington. Now, Sage basically makes the rods in Bainbridge, Washington, but their subsidiary Reddington's all made in China. Sage ain't going to turn around and turn the cheek and say, we'll make Reddington in America. No. Their lower priced lines will be made in China. They're not going to go anywhere. Let me put it this way. Another fly rod company that won't change course is Orvis. They're cheaper lines made in China. One's got a 25-year warranty. The other one's got a 1-year warranty. Everything else is made in America. Their reels, some of them are made in China and Korea. They're not going to change there. I talked to Orvis, recently. They're not going to change. They're going to stay what they're doing. Most of their reels are imported. They're not going to change. It's lower wages. Because then they have to hire new people and everything else and then raise the wages up. There's a lot of American-made rod companies and reel makers that make some really good fly fishing reels. Fortunately, they're between $500 and $1,500 a reel. Now, to get a good American one, you can pay about $400, but still, that's a boatload of money, So a lot of things that you got to look for won't come back to this country, even if Donald Trump promises. Televisions, we used to make television in this country. That went outsourced to Taiwan, Philippines, China, Japan. A lot of cars will stay in this country. A lot of RVs and yachts will stay in this country. Some yachts are made in other parts of the world, like Benetti. They're made, not Benelli. Benelli makes Italian shotguns. Benetti makes Italian yachts, and very expensive ones. And so, there's plants out there that make yachts like Washington, I believe, has the Nordic tug cruising yachts that look like little tugboats to Hatteras, I believe it's made in America. So, there is some boats out there made in America, but, most of our bigger industrial things, you're not going to see a computer made in America. You're not going to see a Nintendo Switch made in America. You're not going to see TVs or stuff made in America. That's gone. You're not going to see a cell phone made in America because it's cheaper to manufacture and mass produce the things that we need, like the cell phone, over different things. Now, there is items that will stay in the country for a long time, and that is like things that we use with paper products. Sometimes you find at the dollar store for $1, you get like 40 envelopes made in China. But this year, see the flag? It says made in America. So, made in the USA. I use a box of these. When these are out, I'll start using my cousin Dinky's envelopes over there. Made in America. She bought me she came out to visit me. She knows I love letter writing. But, I mean, everything you look at, American-made spirits. I've heard the bottles are made in China and shipped over here. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard other countries mass-produce the bottles, and they just fill the contents from the barrel. So, honestly, I don't know about liquor, but I can tell you, that items like cameras, electronics, etc., made in China and Korea. Big box companies like Bass Pro and Cabela's use China and Korea for their products. You can spend $2,000 on a tent, one of their outfitter tents from Cabela's, and you get everything for it. It's Chinese made. They say it's a lifetime warranty. You can also buy the Chinese made wood stove that goes with it. Now you can spend $3,000 or $4,000 to get an American made one out of Colorado or Wyoming, one of those tent makers, or even Montana, Kansas. You pay more, but everything's made in America. So, if you look at the ratio when Donald Trump says bringing all Americans' jobs back, it won't happen. I mean, look at Lionel Trains, for example. Lionel in the 80s decided to cut costs and lay off all their workers and send it to Mexico. Within 5 years, they were back in America making American trains because the Mexicans didn't know what they were doing. A couple other companies that made some really good fly rods out of the Great Lakes area was St. Croix. They are down to like a couple fly rod models now, or, not like their Avid, which was really good, but their Rio Santos was made in Mexico. Look at I'm just giving you an example. Fly rod companies, a lot of them that can make their own in-house fly rods are made in China or Korea. And so, to me, you got to look at it. These companies will not hire on more workers and raise rates from to $100 a rod, which they can make in China, to say $900 a rod in America. Now, there is American-made companies. I mean, you got Scott, which is a good brand. It's cool. When they changed over the G series, I said enough's enough. You got R.L. Winston, made in America. They're made in Montana, Twin Bridges, good rods. They had a Chinese factory for a while. They stopped making Chinese because people complained that they were going to make all the rods in China and charge $900. Look at the G Lumen, or I think it's the Hardy Asquint. There's two Hardy's rods that are $600 and $1,200. They're made in Korea. If I'm paying $1,200 for a fly rod, I better have it made in fucking America. That's where I stand by American-made products. Unfortunately, certain things like this, made in Switzerland, the Swiss Army knife, they do make plenty of tobacco products. But if you look at the supply ratio, a lot of the companies that went overseas for cheaper labor. Levi's used to be made in America, then Mexico, then China. American-made clothes are getting far and far, because the companies think it's cheaper. Look at Donald Trump's own family's line. It's made in China. I mean, literally, if he's really wanting to bring back American workers, he would have to literally turn around and charge more for his family's clothing line to be made in America. Instead of being, say, $100 for the dress, it could be $600 a dress, because it's got to be made, in a factory that can make clothes fast enough. Unfortunately, again, it is just too damn expensive. So you got to look at the big freaking picture. So, to me, I wanted to share that with you all. I mean, make America great again, yeah. Make American-made products, great. I support that. Unfortunately, there's items out there that will never be made in America again. Electronics, camping gear. Back in the day, we made a lot of camping gear, but we all outsourced it to China. I've heard the new Coleman lanterns, the fueled lanterns, like the dual fuel and the gasoline and kerosene, are all made in China. So back in the day, they used to make most of their products in America. Their lighting and their camp stoves in America. They didn't make made in China. Then they outsourced their tents to China. And since then, people say, oh, well, China's got shitty products. They do. I mean, I had to complain to every tights maker that sold me tights that say they're the equivalent to the ones I used to wear. And they're all Chinese made. They didn't even last 2 hours. And they're like, oh, well, you're overweight, probably. No, I'm actually at the weight that your package says. It's just they don't last. I mean, they basically, I take good care of my tights, and they're just like, they fall apart. Whereas the ones in America are sold out. Because, honestly, the company emailed me. I'm a good customer of theirs. I've been a customer for 30 years. Probably 32 years since I was, 30 years, yeah, 12. I'm 42 now. And they know when I write, I get a point across. And they admitted that they can't get the materials in, the spandex, the lycra, or the cotton and stuff to make their tights, because importing is getting harder and harder because tariffs and everything else. So they can only make what they can make, and so when they get stuff in, they have a wait list. They've been having a wait list for 10 years, 15 years. I mean, this is literally. Now, another thing that I want to tell you about is supply and demand. Again, remember I told you about freezers. A lot of freezers are coming from Korea and China. They're sold out. A lot of refrigerators are sold out. Another thing that's getting harder and harder to get a hold of is hunting and fishing knives, whether it be a Bowie knife, a smaller Bowie knife, a flat-bladed knife. Some companies had to discontinue half their knife lines because they can't get the materials in coming from China to bring it in. I mean, literally. And steel is getting harder and harder too. That's the other thing. Some of the knife companies I used to work with, I buy from and inquire for the videos. They said they can't get steel in, or other items to make their knives. I mean, literally, rubber, steel, things are selling out like hotcakes because of the pandemic. Another thing that's really worrying them is the fact that the emergency food's now running out. The stuff you got 15 to 30 year shelf life or more, they're sold out. I mean, literally, these people are panic buying like crazy and not giving anyone else a chance. So, and then that goes with other problems we have in this country that wasn't addressed. I'm hoping in the next 60 days before the election, things are addressed with the post office. I also want to say that I got an email from Amazon. They had to change my 2-day shipping, which they can't guarantee now because they're so fucking backlogged. That my order will be filled as soon as possible. They took the money out for food again, and they're sending it UPS SurePost, which means it goes all the way to the post office. The post office supposedly has packages as a high priority over meds and first class mail. And then what happens is they're going to turn around and ship the packages out in a timely manner. Well, right now they're saying my estimate delivery is September 21st to September 28th. I'm sorry, but I can't wait that long for groceries. So I'm sending Chloe out to Walmart ASAP to get extra groceries to make sure we don't starve because, as you know, beef is in short supply now, lamb, chicken, and I have lamb that I purchased. The farmers can't slaughter because the slaughterhouse filled up. She didn't know that everyone would be booking it fast now because of the pandemic. People are so worried about the election, Now, I gotta say something that I don't mean to insult anyone on, including Captain Pee-wee or Captain Gale. But I have a feeling, again, besides what I told Pee-wee about God, that I have a feeling Biden's still going to be the president, and that is why. And this is just my opinion. Please don't take it. Just take what I say as a grain of salt, okay? Because I'm not a prophet, but I want to share my opinions. That I think the American people are preparing for Biden to be the president because everything's being sold out. Tool sets are getting harder and harder to get. Refrigerators, freezers, you name it, it's happening. And because it's happening, the American people are suffering. And now we're going to see a great divide in the country and a great depression. Now, I know Pee-wee said, the other day, she removed her comment because people don't listen. Well, I appreciate her comment. I really do. And, my opinion is, again, I want to say this to Captain Pee-wee since I know she watches my videos. The reason why I'm doing this video offline is because I don't want any dirtbag son of a bitches, greedy motherfuckers, pestering me, demanding me to give stimulus updates when I don't have any. And you know damn good and well that, and I'm not swearing at you directly, but you know damn good and well that they're going to sell themselves for their stimulus checks. And if they don't get it, they're going to vote for Biden so they can get their $2,000 a month universal basic income, which is all over the place. Pelosi is leaving this dead. Pelosi is playing with fire. She thinks by turning around and turning the entire presidency down on their ears like a dog, that she can win due to the fact that not allowing payments for rental assistance and evictions will speed up them to vote Democrat. Here's the problem, okay? When I was watching the presidential debate tonight, or not debate, the speech, he made sense when it came to people going back to work because there is no stimulus money and no jobs. Or not no jobs, but going back to work because there's no stimulus checks, and going back to work because people can't live on unemployment, the ones that are, and he's proud of them. That's true. He is actually trying to force them to go back to work, and it's a good thing because, there's people out there that are so scared of this virus, He said there'll be maybe before the election, there'll be 3 vaccines out there. We don't know. I can't say what's going to happen to the coronavirus. I do agree with Captain Pee Wee 100% that the virus will, quote unquote, be contained. But it might also, as she said, might be here a long while, so we have to accept the masks. Unfortunately, my gripe is if the media gets wind, which it has, bailing out airlines, that might be another tipping point to vote for Biden. You see, to me, you can't move money around to bail airlines out because of it. The reason Mark Meadows went to Nancy Pelosi was to basically bail out airlines, give $105 billion to schools, which Donald Trump spoke highly about schools tonight's election. Fortunately, the only thing I was thinking is the schools aren't open because there's no money. And as long as the Democrats hold the key cards, they're not going to pass it. And they're not going to pass it. I mean, look, the Democrats are holding the, as Pee Wee said, holding the stimulus money hostage. There is no more stimulus money. It's all smokes and mirrors. When the Republicans come back from work, back from vacation, I'm saying, and go back to work, they're going to pass a lower watered budget that's not going to include stimulus. They tried passing the Heroes bill. It's sitting on Pelosi's desk in her garbage can. Mitch McConnell's bill that was delivered from Pelosi on the Heroes Act. It's in Mitch McConnell's garbage can. The HEALS Act is in Pelosi's garbage can. If Mark Meadows thinks that they can pass a skinny cow bill, he's bigly mistaken because the American people is watching as both parties act like school children on the playfield. Now, I agree with Pee Wee. Honestly, we need to get rid of both Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Hell, we should get rid of Leningrad Lins, too, while we're at it. I mean, literally, the point is let them lose their jobs. I mean, all these white rhinos should be retired. Plain and simple. Fortunately, they're not going to go away without fighting. And most of them will retain their seats. And so in the next less than 70 days, we'll know who's the next president. And that's what's sad. Because this is the biggest election in history. People need to go back to work. I agree with Pee Wee. Remember what I said last night. It hurt me to say it, but people need to go back to work. They're the ones destroying the economy by staying home, worrying about a virus. But the American people will gobble up that their lives don't matter, yet airlines do. Everyone knows, and Pee Wee knows this too, it's a political stunt. Donald Trump does the airline, well, so be it. It's none of our business, okay? It's not affecting me.
Airlines and other corporations are people too, Corporations are people, They're people too. As they'll say, corporations are people too. One guy said that. He said corporations are like people. They need money.
My opinion is the American people, the freeloading Democrats, don't want to go to work because they're making more money on unemployment, demanding $600 a week, demanding the stimulus checks. And if they don't get it, they're voting for Biden and voting Trump out. That's a prerogative. Let them do it. The main thing is I've tried to say this time and time again, without upsetting anyone, including Captain Pee Wee, is that we must prepare for the worst outcome in this election. Prepare for the worst and hope for the hell of the best. This isn't about Trump's going to flip 50 states red or Biden's going to flip 50 states blue. No. This is about our livelihood. Preparing for the worst. Because not one person can guarantee the outcome until it's all over. And that's why Captain Gale said we must wait and see. I mean, literally. The media twists things and turns things. But, like I said, it's already gotten out there around the media, whether it be YouTube, Twitch, or some other streaming service, or CNN, Fox, MSN, newspapers, you name it, the news media, it's all out there. But the American people, quote unquote, are seeing that their supposed stimulus checks on hold for airline bailouts or corporate bailouts. American people are taking notice. This is stirring the honeypot. Now, you guys can sit there and say, oh, no, yeah, whatever. But remember, I'm the one that's got to play devil's advocate for both sides, all right? Now, Pee Wee made a statement the other day, and I still don't have that answer for Captain Pee Wee, why the Democrats are allowing this shit to happen, why the president can't move in. It's because the Constitution won't let him. If the states ask for help, he'll marshal federal troops. If they don't ask, and the entire state's going, the only thing he has is the insurrection law, but he hasn't used it. He threatened to use it, but he never did. Look, I've said this many times over. I believe in law and justice. I believe if you commit a crime, you do the time. That includes burning, looting, murders. However, most of the world is backing the birders, looters, and murderers. They're peacefully protesting around the world saying we are barbaric. The way I see it is the Democrats are barbaric for not standing up to the citizens and not allowing the citizens. If someone demanded my house, I'd drop the fuckers. Instead, they're demanding wallets in their houses. If someone came in and demanded Pee Wee's house, Pee Wee's husband has the right to shoot the bastard. But, the media will basically eat that up too. The thing is here's my question about trying to give someone a house. You don't give someone a house even if the house isn't paid for. The person that lives in the house is paying the mortgage. So fuck these freeloading son of a bitches that demand their houses and their wallets. Sorry to say. Thing is this violence needs to stop. Literally. I mean, I'm afraid for the future. I told you this. I'm afraid on the elections. The thing is one guy tonight said we needed to vote everyone out of office that is Democrat. It won't happen. The guy was an African American guy. It won't happen. That just might fuel, other things. I mean, more hate, more violence, more riots. more murders, more lootings, more rapes, more burnings, more destruction of business and personal property. I mean, right now, what needs to be done, and if I was president of the United States or was running for president, which no one's going to vote for me, the simple fix to this whole fucking problem is not to add fuel to the fire, but to fix it. You know. But they say they've been shafted for so long, ever since, Lincoln freed the slaves. They've been shit on. And then segregation was removed, and then things got better. But to them, they're not getting better. They're basically being singled out because of their color or their gender. Or if you're a black trans woman and you consider yourself female, you're being singled out because they think you're an ugly black man in a dress. So they're not hiring you. I mean, there's so many damn things. I mean, look. Even a African American, a Hispanic, or a Caucasian, an Asian trans woman or trans man wouldn't get hired because most companies don't want them in the workforce. It's common sense. It's not about one color is being discriminated against. There's a lot of discrimination out there.
No, I was told if you start petitioning and looking for money, is your best bet is sell your body. I just had to put that out there. Sorry to piss you off.
Sorry, I just don't like getting interrupted when I'm in mid-sentence of talking, then I have a brain fart. No, I forget what I'm saying. And then I gotta think for a minute. People get upset that I'm just standing here.
They're like, yeah, Chloe is the problem. I understand you guys think that.
I don't think you're a problem, but if you want to accuse me of saying that, then fine, do it. The thing is I had a brain fart since you interrupted me. The point is it's not about skin color that's discrimination. It's not about devaluating the suburbs. It's not about that. It's, there's people out there that are redneck hillbillies that believe in one way, white supremacy. And then there's the ones that believe that the blacks have been shit on too enough and they want fair treatment, which is true. They should have fair treatment, but they shouldn't be so riled up of George Floyd's killing or another black man's killing because of a white cop, or recently that guy in Kenosha. Sorry to say. Everyone makes George Floyd to be a saint. Go read his criminal records. Everyone makes the white cops are white superiority with guns and with a boner of authority, and they want to suppress the blacks. Hell, I was suppressed as a hermaphroditic woman. Yet, when it comes to black cops or Hispanic cops, they're as much as racist as a white cop. I've seen Hispanic cops in a Hispanic community have so much boner for authority that isn't funny against whites and whites and blacks. I've seen Asian cops against whites, blacks, and Hispanics. I mean, there's systematic racism. Do I believe in defunding the police? Well, in this island, I do. But that's just my personal opinion. Other places, no. But they're not going to defund the police. It will never happen. I mean, literally, it won't happen. Now, guns, I think, and I'll say this again, give everyone a musket, including the army, and let them fight with one ball. That's all you get is one shot. If you want to commit murder with one shot, fine. Otherwise, no semi-automatic handguns and no revolvers. Then the playing field is fucking even. Plain and simple. I mean, literally, if they want to fucking deregulate weapons, let's take all the weapons away from the police. Give everyone black powder and tell them to deal with it. That might fix the problem. Jokingly, of course. That was just a sarcasm remark. But the point is I am here to ask you, I'm begging you, to whatever you believe in, whether you believe back then the Union side or the Confederate side, like the Civil War, I ask you, to vote with your heart. Vote for whoever you believe in. Don't let anyone tell you differently. And then sit back and wait for the anarchy if your man didn't get in. I mean, literally, there's going to be a civil war if Biden doesn't get in. There's going to be a civil war if Trump gets voted out. There's going to be a civil war no matter what. People don't talk about that. One party wants Biden so bad they'll, the thing is what the freeloading Democrats need to do, like the Roberts who's on SSI need to do, is get off their lazy fucking ass and get a job if they want that $1,200. Otherwise, make your money last. Again, no one in their fucking right mind has explained to me why they need the $1,200. Literally. I'm not saying get a job. I'm saying if you don't want to be evicted, start making rental payment things and go back to work. If you're that worried about the coronavirus, buy some masks. Buy some protective equipment like Cam does. And fucking go to work. Because frankly, that's your best course of action. Getting back on your feet. And push for the Republicans to push the Democrats, if you're a citizen of this great country, to get money for schools so parents can go back to work. They don't want to take their kids back to school because they're worried that their kids will get the virus and then their family will get the virus and then grandma and grandpa will get the virus. So they're using every excuse in the book to stay home and freeload off the country. And then you hear these Democrats say the jobs went away with the dodo bird. I'm still doing research on that, by the way. I'm not giving up on my research for unemployment and jobs and stimulus checks. So, if by the end of September the jobs that were created are lost, they might give a stimulus. They might. But they're basically basing it off the stock market. I know this because I've done the research. So in the end, I ask you, I beg you, to use some common sense when voting. Vote, but do your research first. Gail told me tonight she was going to spend all day tomorrow doing research, spending all day watching the Democratic convention and the Republican online, following up on it all, doing her research to make her decision more clearly. I know she's going to vote Trump anyways, but she wants to see, there's a lot of stuff on both sides of the aisle that are slinging mud. I've never seen much in the Democratic National Convention attack Donald Trump, but I've seen his entire party attack Biden and Kamala Harris. For good reason, too. But they're allowing them to get attacked. So when they go to the poll, people, you don't think Biden and Kamala Harris has already made a deal and knows that the blacks will vote for them because of the massive killings of the black people? You don't think they didn't talk to Pelosi and said, hey, you'll keep your seat as a Speaker of the House, but guess what? Delay making payments, offering deals for stimulus checks, so people get pissed and they vote for me. You don't think that's happening? Consider me a conspiracist? Think about it. What about the homeless population? If they don't get housing funded and the Democrats aren't budging and the Republicans want everyone to go back to work and the Democrats are saying, no, don't go back to work, and all of a sudden they lose all their the virus is bad, we have to get virus relief fund for states and housing and mortgages and stimulus and all this stacked up so we can help you. Pelosi stated that she's here to help the American people. No, she isn't. Conspiracy time for me. She's wanting 40 million people to go homeless because they can get the votes. Donald Trump knows that if 40 million people go homeless, the votes will flip. I mean, literally, if he really wanted to save those votes, he could always put in a bill and get it passed for housing. But the thing is, they wanted under $1 trillion. Why? Because we don't have the money to spend. We don't have the funds. He knows that, and he's a businessman. Republicans know that. Some of the stuff that Donald Trump spoke about tonight was fact. Some of it was false. Same with Biden. Biden spoke facts, and Biden spoke false. All we got to do is wait and see. And the best course of action I can give you advice-wise, if you want your stimulus so bad, Robert, go ahead and vote Democratic all the way because you want your $1,200 to spend. You want to sell your soul for $1,200. Whereas everyone else doesn't want this country to go down this fucking rabbit hole. For the rest of you out there, vote with your conscience. Think. Pee-wee's 96% right on what she posted. 96% right. You got to give credit where credit's due. Look, one of the things that I don't like bragging about, me and Pee-wee went round and round and round that Condoleezza Rice was going to be the next vice president. I said, no, it's Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was going to be used to get Biden in due to the fact that he can use the black voters and he can use the UBI, the Universal Basic $2,000 a person. So, the point is, think about it. Use some common sense. That's all I'm asking. If you all want to say, if you want to believe that Donald Trump is poisoning the post office, privatizing, feel free to. If you want to feel poisoned, that Donald Trump's trying to suppress your vote, then go to the fucking vote, early voting. Vote by mail. Vote early. Early voting starts in many states soon. Vote. If you want Donald Trump out that bad, you vote. If you want Biden out that bad, you vote. The best thing you can do is go to the polls. Wear your mask. Wear your gloves. Wear your warm coats. But you got to get out there and vote and quit being a lazy son of a bitch asking for handouts. What you need to do is get off your ass and go to work. Plain and simple. There's too many people, 130 million of government funds, that want to vote Biden in because they're not getting their $1,200. And there's other people that are Democrats and want to, Republicans or Democrats or whatever, independents, whatever it is, and want to vote Trump out because they're not getting $600 a week. Pee-wee's completely right. You guys would sell your soul for money. Put this country into a communist, socialist, Marxist nation. When the Democrats win, they will personally, not give you a fucking one red cent. I've been reading fact-checking all night, and I can clearly tell you fact-checking is pretty damn cheesy in my opinion. Pretty damn cheesy. And that is something that I don't want at all, is to, you got two parties right now. You don't have a Green Party. You don't have a Libertarian Party. You don't have the Kanye West Party. You have the Republican Party and the Democrats. Now, I support all lives matters, but even you African Americans need to wake up and ask yourself, why are you burning, looting, and murdering, destroying public and private property, businesses, and federal and state buildings, tearing down statues? Why? Is it racism? Is it you guys been shit on? It's not about being white. I get shit on all the time for being who I am. But I get up every day, I dust myself off, and I keep walking. I'd like to know why everyone is getting shit on. Literally. I will agree. There's two sides. Some people say that Donald Trump side, the true loyalists, are in his cult. But then you have the true loyalists in Biden's cult. Democracy needs to be preserved. Social Security is not going to be touched. Medicare is not going to be touched. Medicaid is not going to be touched. Food stamps aren't going to be touched. But you Americans need to realize that a lot of this show from the DNC and the RNC is basically a giant circus. You must pick out the grains of sand out of your rice bags. And you must make the decision for yourself. You must believe what is right and wrong. You must believe. I can't tell you. But I will tell you on voting night who I voted for my own conscious research. But just think about it. Do you want your country to be a socialist country? Marxist, communist? Where they round you all up, put you in boxcars because you're too old, you're too frail, and you're draining the system? Or the thing is, you got to make your own decision. I can't tell you. But we believe what we believe in. Whether it's the old Civil War with the Union versus the Confederate States of America, or right now, the truth hurts. But in the end, the main thing is, as Donald Trump said, you need to get out there and vote. If you don't vote, you don't get a say if your country becomes socialist. You don't get to complain because you didn't vote. You want 4 more years, or do you want 4 new years with someone else? The choice is yours. Vote. Vote with your heart. Vote what is right. And I believe if you stay off of news agencies, it'll make your decisions more easier. I mean, look, the last 4 days plus, they've been talking, well, actually the last 10 days plus, they've been talking about the DNC and the RNC. They haven't brought up stimulus checks much, or unemployment. Well, let me ask you, what are you people going to do when the FEMA funds and the coronavirus relief funds run out? There's no more money. You're going to go up, knock on the senators' doors in Congress, in the Senate, and say, give us money? Or are you going to pull yourself by the bootstraps, like the pioneers did, and settled cities, built their own spreads, did things by hand, and got this country back on its feet without asking for handouts? Are you going to stand around and panic and suck up every fucking little fucking roll of toilet paper and paper towels and hand sanitizers, freezers and laptops and printers and everything else, bikes sold out, and suck up everything and it still ask for handouts? Or are you going to actually get off your lazy ass and make America great again by getting back to work and following the CDC guidelines? Or are you going to stand around and ask for a handout? Problem is, the handouts and the stimulus check was just the priming to get you more comfortable for staying home so you can beg for socialism and to vote for socialism. So many people are panicked. Meat's getting scarce. Supplies are getting scarce. Think about it. Why? You're either preparing for a civil war or you're preparing for a depression. Don't call me crazy or lunatic. That's how I see things. So, what's it going to be, everyone? Vote with your heart. Vote right what's from wrong. I mean, look. if you were going to get a stimulus check, and I always never sugarcoat it. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats would have bent over backwards, took it in the ass, and gave you your stimulus check. Instead, they're standing steadfast like a rock, like a Chevy pickup truck. And they're not fucking budging until they get what they want. Unemployment, same thing. The Democrats have something going. It's called being kicked out of office. The Republicans are trying to get you all back to normalcy by working. And I don't want to hear any bullshit stories of you guys lost your jobs and your jobs went away the dodo bird. You can't you have to take care of your kids. And so if the Democrats gave in to schools, you can go back to work. But no, you have to stay home and tutor your kids and take care of your kids at home because you don't want them getting the coronavirus or etc. Mail-in ballots, well, there's a guy that's going to be fired soon, I guarantee, an intel officer that said that there is no facts in mail-in ballot fraud. Well, so be it. He'll be fired because he basically outspoke when he was supposed to keep quiet. He's basically a Democrat. He's not a Republican. Think about it. When you see the media, they don't want their internet censored like Facebook or Twitter, so they're pushing for Biden to be president. These people that are Democrat. I was reading that Wisconsin might flip blue thanks to that guy being shot in the back 7 times. It's bullshit. Until you have all the fucking facts, vote with your heart and soul. Vote what is right. If the guy basically was called because of a civil matter or something other, and his 3 kids were in his SUV, and they couldn't find a knife, maybe he was targeted because of his skin color. I don't know. But that's what the media is saying. You got to look past the media's firewall to get to the truth. If you buy into all this mainstream media rhetoric bullshit, you're going to only find yourself hip deep up to your neck in shit, and you won't know which way to go or what to believe. Point is you need to vote with your heart. If you are African American and you believe in Donald Trump, vote Donald Trump. If you're African American and you want to believe Biden and it's a skin color, vote Biden. I don't give a shit. Just wait for the aftermath is all I'm saying. When you get your man in office, that's when hell's going to break loose. And I don't want to be seeing this country go down the shitter because you guys decided you wanted to vote for money. Because you guys can't get off your ass and work. All these Democrats emptying all the booze and the beer and the wine. All these Democrats draining fucking electronics, camping equipment. That's sold out too. And other shit. And then you go and you fucking bitch.
Get your dinner started and we'll take him out too.
That's all I want to say to you all. Think before you act. Think before the words come out of your mouth. Do your own research. My job's not to do research. My job is to come on here and tell you that I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat this. I'm telling it like it is. I may not like everything that Republicans or Democratic convention speakers said, but it's not my job to go and translate every bad and every good for you. It's your job. If you guys want stimulus checks, then get off your lazy ass and get a stimulus check. Otherwise, they're dead. You want to vote? Vote for the party you think can do the job. I'm not telling you what to vote for and who to vote for. I'm not giving you propaganda or or fear tactering and fear mongering. I'm just saying, do your own research. There's too many lazy people that want to go on YouTube, watch a video, and say, oh, yeah, that person's right. I agree with all the comments. We're voting for Biden. We're not getting money. You made your decision already, so be it. But there's other people like me and others. Before we sign our name to the ballot, we're going to get the facts and the true skin. Otherwise, don't come cry to me if you're all rounded up with boxcars because you made the wrong decision. Don't come crying to me if Donald Trump lies to all the promises to get reelected. I don't want to hear it. What I want to hear is you voted, and you voted for the candidate you believe could do the job. That's the main thing. I'm not telling you to go vote one way or the other, but I have my own opinions, and my opinions will stick. The American people, they're suffering only because they won't get off their ass and get a job. Plain and simple. So, you end up homeless, and you want to blame it on the Republicans for not passing mortgage or rental assistance or eviction moratoriums, then I know where your heart is. Your heart is in mammon or money. Your heart is, you pay your taxes, you deserve that money, fuck the rest of us. You people make me sick. You want to worry about fucking Christmas because you want the government to bail you out for your Christmas present because you maxed out your credit cards. It's not our job. Your job is to get off your ass, pull yourself out of the mud, put your boots on, and fucking tighten your bootstraps, and you go to fucking work. You get your bills covered. It's not the president's fault. The economy's faltering. It's not the fucking Republicans' fault. Look around. Let me put it to you this way. 20 fucking plus Democratic states is filing against the federal government because the Postal Service is delaying meds. Fine, so what? Big deal. Will that change anything? Well, it's a tune thing? No. The Democrats, when they never got their fucking way, they pulled out the lawsuit card, and the attorney generals of those states would file against Trump because they don't like him. If you say, oh, well, it's your opinion, well, my freedom of choice is this. Every time he does something wrong, take away transgendered health care. Lawsuits are now pending in 20 states plus. Taking away the Postal Service, 20 plus lawsuits filed jointly. Guess what? That's all they could do is lawsuits. I'm waiting to see what Pelosi says about bailing out airlines by changing funds around. I don't know the story about the airlines, and I don't care to know. But I will tell you, the American people will eat it up, and they'll vote for Biden because they don't want money going to the airlines, which it's not our job to bail out every fucking Tom, Dick, and Harry's big corporations like airlines or cruise lines or companies making things overseas. A lot of PPP loans went for millions because it was free money to people. Celebrities, Gail said this tonight, should have went to small businesses. About 55% of small businesses went under permanently. They want to blame the Republicans for not doing enough. Yeah, it's because these small companies want to blame it on people. Blaming it on Republicans. They wanted to pass a skinny bill with more PPP. But then, the fucking freeloading son of a bitches are complaining that they're not getting their $1,200. Oh, fuck the PPPs. 130 million people on government benefits wants no PPP in their $1,200 they're promised. Others want $2,000 a month, no ifs, ands, and buts, back pay. Others want $3,000 or $5,000 one-time payments or $10,000. Again, Ludicrous. In the end, you tell me, who's the selfish ones? We wouldn't be in this fucking mess, you selfish son of a bitches, if you sucked up everything that's at the store.
Here's the catch here. I'm gonna cook 2 things of ground beef here. I'm gonna split it in 2 afterwards. I can put mine somewhere else. Yes.
The dishes are clean. I think I put a pan in there already, didn't I?
You did. This one. I get another one.
Well, that one there is soaking. You burned the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I can scrub that one, I guess, with soap and water.
Well, do what you want. I'm cooking food. I'll eat later.
The bottom line is, thank you. The bottom line is, make sure to put the hood vent on. The bottom line is, it's you greedy son of a bitches, got brain fart for a second, that keep asking for more money and more money. And you don't want to earn your money. You want it handed to you.
More lemonade tomorrow. The gas station sells it.
More money and more money and more money. Do they sell regular lemonade?
Just this. They sell regular lemonade in smaller bottles.
Maybe I'll send you over to the co-op, get some more milk for me. Yeah. Anyways, all I'm trying to say to you is
we have organic juices there.
All I'm trying to say is you son of a bitches, you just want a handout. And if you don't get a handout, you'll vote against the Republican Party. Well, so be it. But I want you to think, if it wasn't for your selfish, socialistic...
So you want this Velveeta stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Selfish, communistic views, sucking up every fucking thing. Sucking up everything that you want and depleting the entire supply and demand in this country, and everyone's scalping things. It's your fault. It's the Roberts of the world that want their $1,200 to go spend it foolishly. It's the other motherfuckers that spend it foolishly. Booze, alcohol, cigarettes. Everything is the freeloaders' fault. There you have it. I gotta go because I gotta use the bathroom. So please unsubscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like and subscribe button. Show some funding for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the bell notification for new content every day. And God bless you. And God bless the United States of America.